Happy New Year-ish, everybody, and welcome to a big finale episode of Hit or Miss Doctor Who. Not only is this our last episode of the year, but it's also the last in our ongoing series looking at stories featuring those infamous angry pepperpots, the Daleks. And we're going out with a bang of fireworks, that is, by checking out the appropriately festive special, Eve of the Daleks. Joining me for the Dalek-dodging time loop shenanigans are two great returning guests from all over the world. Truly an international New Year celebration this is. The Doctor would be proud. First up from Germany and from our Discord, it's Tobi. Welcome back.
Hi. Nice to be back.
It's good to see you again. And second frequent guest on both our podcasts, our US representative, Michael Whaley. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
No, thanks for coming on board, both of you guys, to talk some Doctor Who. And before we join Sarah and Nick in Elf Storage, we have a couple of regular podcast sections to dive into. As this is kind of our holiday special, I am mixing things up for this one for reasons that will become apparent. So we're actually going to start with the section that gives the podcast its name and jump straight into the hit or miss.
How I hate these hit or miss performances.
Hey, you all forgot this was coming, didn't you?
No, it's been a while.
I actually didn't.
Okay, fair enough. Well, all season I've been doing Dalek-related episodes with a few extra things mixed in, but like I said, this is our festive special, so I'm mixing things up. I have 4 things already listed. The theme will become immediately apparent when I start off, but I'm just going to jump straight in for the first thing here and say hit or miss for the episode, The Christmas Invasion. And Tobi, I'll start with you first. Hit or miss for this one?
I mean, first of all, I have to say, I almost never rewatched Doctor Who. So my memory is like 5 years or something.
What? Okay.
I don't have the time. So, but I do remember liking the story. I mean, it's kind of, it is a slow start in the first half, but I think when it gets going really well, and I'm gonna call it a hit.
Yeah, no, that is fair. You are right, because obviously David Tennant, it's his first episode and he doesn't turn up until the last, maybe 10, 15 minutes of an hour-long special. So you've remembered that well, and you are right about that. I can definitely see that criticism. But you do remember liking the majority of it, though, yeah?
Yeah, and I think whatever slowness is in the first half gets completely obliterated by the epicness that is the last few minutes.
Exactly. Yeah, that's fair enough. And how about you, Whaley? Would you say hit or miss for the Christmas Invasion?
I'm gonna say hit. I did like this one. I mean, Tennant's barely in it, but I did like the fact that they're trying to do everything, without having access to the Doctor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it's how everybody lives their lives in the United States. I'm gonna say hit on this one.
Okay. Do you remember a favorite part or anything that sticks out in your memory, either of you?
I do like this the fighting. Fighting is fun.
The sword fighting part.
Yeah, the sword fighting.
I do like the flamethrower trombones.
Yeah. I have a soft spot for the killer Christmas tree because it's just it's so ridiculous it could only happen in Doctor Who. Just Jackie Taylor screaming, "I'm gonna get killed."
I also did like the at the end, it comes back up, it comes back again and stuff like that. But don't you think she looks tired?
Oh yeah, the very end.
Oh, that was honestly the I don't want to say meanest, but that was, I mean, with different. I mean, Tennant's Doctor is notoriously revenge themed, anyways. But don't you think she looks tired? Forgot about that was started in this episode.
No, I kind of love that. I love that. Yeah. I'm kind of with Toby's criticism, but I would say it's a hit because, like you, when David Tennant does turn up, I was immediately on board with him.
Yes.
And, considering it was our first kind of example in New Who of a new Doctor taking over, and I hadn't really seen him in much and wasn't sure how to take him. I mean, he immediately hits the ground running, and by the end of the episode, I was like, yep, this is the Doctor. I absolutely love it. And I love that he's got this kind of darker streak, how he's talking about, I don't really know who I am, and I'm just discovering this. And then, he sword fights the Sycorax, gives him, oh, I'm not going to kill you, but go back to the stars and surrender. The guy tries to attack him again, and he just destroys him with a Satsuma. Just no second chances. I'm that kind of a man. Like, damn, Doctor. So so much to like in this episode. I love how festive it is for the first Christmas special. Like you said, the robot Santas with the flamethrower trombones and the killer Christmas tree.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I think overall that's pretty much a hit for everyone. So this isn't going to be particularly fun for Tobi if you never rewatch these episodes, but maybe you'll get more and more familiar as we go by, because the second thing on my list for today, hit or miss for the episode, The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. And Whaley, I'll come to you first to give Tobi a chance to remember this one.
Smith at his finest. I liked this one, so I'm gonna say hit on it as well.
Okay. Do you remember much about it, or is it just kind of like vibes?
I remember pieces. I would need to glance real fast and look it up. The Widow and the Wardrobe.
I know it's kind of an unpopular one among the Christmas specials, which is why I think it doesn't really stick.
It's not my favorite, but I do like it.
While you're looking that up, I'll ask Tobi if you can remember anything about this, and if you think it's a hit or a miss, then Tobi.
I don't mind it, but it's not the best. There is better, but it's fine, and it's a little cheesy, but that's okay. And I mean, it's also at least somewhat of a different tone for this Christmas special, so I appreciate the variety in this. I mean, I'm gonna say it's a soft hit. It's a soft hit.
Yeah, fair enough. And do you have anything that? Go ahead, Wheelie. Go ahead.
Sorry. I was gonna say I did like the seeing the dead husband thing with the plane.
Yeah.
I really liked that, and I like the trying to save the forest.
Yes.
The whatchamacallit, the miners to get off the planet because those things are alive. They and no one thinks they are. But I definitely will say that this was a hit. It's not my favorite Christmas one. I'm hoping that you're going to come up on one that has one of my favorite parts ever. But
we'll get to it, I'm sure, at some point or another. There's a reason why I started with it.
I'll say hit.
That's fair enough. I know this isn't very popular as an episode, but I always liked it. It's not my favorite Christmas special. I can see why it's perhaps not as beloved, but there is some really cool stuff in here that I do like. I like how clever the idea is that they don't really know who it is, that the kind of they're trying to sort of seek the life forms or whatever in the forest, and then the idea that they're looking for Mum, and it's the Doctor's like, well, of course, all life starts on the mothership. Oh, that's kind of a clever kind of play on words, and yes, it's cheesy that he saves the dad that they thought was dead during the war at the end, but it's Christmas. You have to have a bit of cheesy, So
you want a happy ending, not a bummer.
Yeah, but I mean, even before that, though, before he actually saves them, you do get a decent little treatise on grief when he's like, why should the kids be happy now if they're going to be sad later? And the answer is because they're going to be sad later, so let them have this moment, So there's a lot of really nice stuff and sort of sweet stuff in there. I think it gets overlooked a lot. I don't think it's bad. It's just that the Christmas specials are strong. So I would also go soft hit, I think, for this one. So do you have anything that stands out, Tobi, as a highlight for you from this one?
I do think the design of the wood creatures is really cool.
Oh yeah, really good, effective as well. Yeah, I do love the joke when the Doctor tries to use the sonic screwdriver and was like, "Of course, creatures made of wood. This was always going to happen one day."
Yep.
Right. Well, that's 2 big hits so far. So the third one on the list, anyway, out of the 4, hit or miss for the episode Last Christmas. Tobi, we're back to you to start this one, if you can recall it.
Yeah, this is a hit. This is a really fun episode. I like the mystery aspect of it and the different layers. That's fun, and it's just something that I am interested in television. So it was always going to work for me. I mean, the ending is a little bit too double, triple. Bluff. It didn't need that.
I think that's because they kind of changed it last minute. Because for the longest time, Jenna Coleman was going to leave in this episode and then changed her mind. So you kind of had to write an ending on top of the ending to bring her back, which is weird. So but
that's okay. I don't think it really harms the episode much. It's just a little didn't need that.
Yeah, that's right. You seem to remember this one a lot better anyway because it's more recent. So fair enough. But yeah, you did like the kind of is it a dream sort of aspect of it, and the worlds within worlds kind of concept, because it's kind of an interesting thing to do at Christmas, isn't it? So
also, I'm gonna do a quote now because I love when the doctor says, "You have a movie called Alien." That's really offensive.
Yeah, you've got a horror movie called Alien. So no wonder you keep getting invaded.
That is a great line.
Yeah, so many great lines like that. But yeah, that's cool. So over to you then, really, your last Christmas hit or a miss?
It's a hit. I like this one. I love the Inception with aliens, and then it's everything's fun. I mean, it's just a fun episode. I didn't know that about that Jenna was going to be leaving, and then they rewrote it, which makes sense now once you rewatch it. But
yeah, because they kind of wrote a really sweet, sort of perfect ending, and then we're like, oh, we now have to undo this because she's not going yet. So, which I mean, I remember being happy about at the time because I like her a lot as an actress and as the companion, so I didn't mind. So, but
she's probably the most blasted companion, but I still liked her. I didn't.
Oh, I think she's great.
I didn't have any problems with all of her episodes. So.
I think a lot of people that have issues with it tends to be the people that are like, oh, how dare a woman be more focused than the Doctor and whatever.
Now, I would say, is all of her stuff the strongest? No, it's not my favorite. But
it's true, any companion.
Capaldi, and a lot of people didn't. So, like, it's...
No, I think she's good. I mean, that's a different
yeah, that is a different whole thing.
Yeah, but no, I think she's good. I've met Jenna Coleman, and she seems sweet. Yeah.
I really did like this episode. I love the is it a dream? Is it not? Aliens. It's a fun mix of everything and Christmas. So
it is. Yeah. I can only agree with you guys. I mean, it's possibly my favorite of the Christmas specials, which gets controversial when I say that.
Yeah.
But
because I have a favorite, and it's not this one.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, so I love everything that you guys have mentioned, but I also have to shout out Faye Marseille, who plays Shona, who is just an incredible actress, not just because she's from around the same area where I live, but she's really good. And I thought she's possibly one of my biggest, should have been a companions. And again, I have the sense, though it's never been confirmed, that she might have been written as the replacement for Clara if she was going. Because you kind of do get that vibe from her, and I think it would have been nice had that been the case. But yeah, she's a really good actress. I mean, you'll know her from Andor recently with Varada Sethu, strangely enough, who's also a Doctor Who companion. But yeah, she was really good in this episode, and I wanted to see more of her. I mean, everybody was good, all of the guest cast, and as you said, the idea was kind of fun and funky, and we haven't even mentioned the kind of bizarre meta Nick Frost appearing as Santa Claus in an episode because it's so packed that even that just kind of like, huh? Oh yeah, that's in here as well, So yeah,
love Nick.
Oh, he's really funny, yeah. So, well, the last one I have on the list, anyway, though not necessarily the last one we'll talk about. You probably can guess where I'm going with this, I'm sure. So, hit or miss for the episode "The Church on Ruby Road." And who are we up to? Toby, is it you first this time, or is it?
I don't.
We'll come to you, Toby, because that's just what came into my head. So I'll ask you first. You must remember this; it was only 2 years ago.
Yeah, of course.
So go ahead, hit or miss.
This is kind of difficult for me, honestly.
Okay.
I don't really have a strong opinion on this one. I'm okay with it, but I don't know. It's okay. I'm just going to say it's okay because I don't really have any strong opinion.
So you're kind of in the middle, like neither hit nor miss, just kind of there.
Yeah.
That's kind of damning in its own sense, in a way, really, isn't it? Is it your least favorite of the various festive specials?
I'd have to look what all of them are, but probably not. There has to be something that's worse.
There must be a worse.
There has to be.
Possibly somewhere, but well, that's a shame you didn't respond to this one. You didn't like it so much. But how about you, Whaley?
I'm gonna say hit as well. I liked this one. I liked the mystery of it, and getting to know the new Doctor, and yeah, and Judy's great, and I enjoyed it. It's not my favorite, but it was to me it was fun.
Yeah, Fair enough. Well, thankfully, I'm going to say it's a hit, so we don't have to wonder about where we would sit with this. I think I was relieved because I didn't respond at all to the 60th anniversary specials, as I've mentioned in just our last episode. So this, for me, was the first time in Russell T Davies' second run that I was like, oh, okay, now Doctor Who's back, and I kind of appreciate what it is. As you say, it's not groundbreaking like 10 out of 10 stuff, but it was the first time I came out of an episode and was like, I have no problems with it. I liked it. I enjoyed it. There was lots of good stuff in there, and there's nothing I can complain about. So I have to kind of say hip. But there's also stuff that I liked, like I said, some of the introductory stuff to Ncuti, the 15th Doctor, seeing Millie for the first time and how good she was. And I know it's unpopular, but I really do friggin' love that Goblin song.
Oh, I was just gonna say, if you didn't, that's where I was gonna say. I love that song. I thought it was like, I was like, holy shit. No, I mean, but I'm musical theater nerd as well and stuff like that. But I thought it was catchy. It was fun, and it worked in the scene that it was in. Like, if it would have come in a different spot, no, it wouldn't have worked. Music doesn't always work in things in certain spots. No, but that one was
again for the middle of a Christmas special on Christmas Day, and you've got to accept a little bit of cheese, like I said, every now and then. And
Doctor Who always has cheese. I mean, sometimes the cheese is in the right spot, sometimes it's not. But
fair enough.
Yeah, no, this one worked for me.
That's fair enough. Well, I mean, that's thankfully for our festive edition a very positive overall hit or miss section, because that's 4 hits for the 4 Christmas specials that we talked about. I just wanted to kind of do a bit of a themed thing there. I started with the hit or miss section when I would normally start with the kind of beginning chat because I wanted to deal with the 4 we were dealing with first. But now we will enter the vortex. For what would have been our opening chat. So I've got a few questions to ask, and the very first question is, other than the ones we've mentioned potentially, what is your favourite of the Doctor Who Christmas, or if you prefer festive episodes? Whaley, you sound like you're desperately wanting to tell me so.
So my favourite, of course, is Matt Smith's A Christmas Carol.
Yep. Okay.
It's got a line that I still quote to this day that is just one of the funniest. Like, when I rewatch it, sometimes I pause it and rewind it and just to listen to him say the line again. But when after he comes down to the chimney and they're like they're very, very confused, and he goes, it's Christmas, saw chimney. My mind went poof.
Some really good funny lines, and the one I love is when he said, I have no idea what to do with girls, and he's like, just act all flustered and confused. Does that help? No, but it's going to be the case anyway, so you might as well run with it.
Yeah, it's just a fun episode. It's sweet, it's Christmas, it's funny, like it's got a lot of, and it's a Christmas Carol. It's a version of that. Yeah, so like, definitely. It's to me, it's when I think of all the Christmas specials, this is my favorite.
I can see why, and I love it a lot, and I love any version of A Christmas Carol. I don't love the lack of any kind of cheesy happy ending in that one, because it doesn't do I suppose some would argue it doesn't do the cop-out, but I just was never fond of that's a kind of downer ending, and I never liked the stupid flying sharks. I just, you can kind of tell.
To me, it was silly and fun. That was the cheese for it, and I like that. I also love Rory on his honeymoon in a Roman Centurion outfit, which is great.
Amy in her strippogram outfit,
yeah. It's fun. There were stakes there and trying to do stuff all while on Christmas, and I enjoyed it. So
I still love it a lot. Like I said, the idea behind it and the Doctor's kind of Christmas is where we celebrate being halfway out the dark, and it's very you, because that's you as a person kind of thing, Yeah. And there's lots to love in there. Just it's not my favorite, because I said there's a couple of things that just bug me about it too much. But
I think I just overlooked some of those.
Oh, I can understand why. Yeah, definitely. It's a lot of people's favorite episode. A lot of people will probably be screaming at me for saying that, but like I said, I've already said my favorite. It's Last Christmas, the Capaldi episode. Although I don't think there's any of the Christmas episodes that I would say are a miss or that I don't like at all. Even the New Year specials from the Chibnall era, I like all of those as well. So yeah, over to you, Tobi. Do you have a favorite Christmas or festive special, or maybe a couple that you want to shout out that you like that we haven't mentioned? Or
to no one's surprise, I will say the Husbands of River Song.
Wow, that is a bizarre choice. Okay, that's one of the two that come the closest to me calling it a miss, I would say, actually. But okay, so what do you love about the Husbands of River Song?
I mean, first of all, I love River Song.
Well, yeah, okay.
And I just think this episode is so funny throughout. And I really love the scene in the in the dining room.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes,
that
is a great one. That is, I love that scenes too. So that is, yeah, I agree.
It's made by the last kind of parts of the episode when you realize that it's, River's last night, but it will last years. So,
that is also so sweet.
It's got a lot. It does, I agree that the dining room scene is fantastic, and the ending is great, and it ties into one of my favorite Doctor Who episodes of all time, which is the Silence of the Library.
Of course,
and also, this is where this is where I knew Greg Davis from before Taskmaster was from this. I didn't realize that he didn't need to be taller for the robot until after Taskmaster because he's 6'8". But I was like, oh, he's tall. I was like, oh, it's a movie. They can make anybody look tall. Look at Tom Cruise. But
oh no, he really is that tall.
Yeah, he very is.
Do you, out of curiosity, do you have any a least favorite of the festive specials, even if it's one you don't necessarily hate but just don't like as much?
Here's the thing: if it's something I don't like, I tend to forget about it.
Yeah. That's
so let me see if I can.
I have to say, whilst you're doing that, just to kind of give you a response to you, Toby, I don't dislike the Husbands of River Song or the Return of Dr. Mysterio. I actually really liked the latter for a while, but the thing that bugs me about both of them now is the villains. They kind of come from nowhere and disappear into nowhere, and nothing's ever done with them. And especially considering the Return of Dr. Mysterio ends with them infiltrating UNIT, and it's just completely been forgotten ever since, as if they were going to do something with that, and it didn't. So I can't rewatch them without getting really bugged by that now.
All right, I do have an answer to that.
Okay.
I've never really been, and I would say miss on this one. I'm looking at all of them right now, and just Google's nice sometimes. They put all of them up on a thing.
Yeah.
The Snowman. The Snowman.
Oh, that's a shocker. That's our friend Will's favorite.
I don't know. I've just never been, something about that episode just never clicked with me. It's not bad, but it's probably my least favorite. Well, don't forget, I've blocked some of that episode out. I know I've watched it twice. I watched it originally, and then when we were catching Rune up, who hadn't seen a bunch, that was one that was in there, and I remember just going,
That's a shame. I really like that one. I think it's huge because it's just after he's lost the ponds and he first meets a version of Clara, and
he first meets Clara and stuff. I don't know. There's just something about it. I mean, there's some other ones that are probably close. Here's the thing: I didn't think it was bad by any stretch. I just didn't. It wasn't if you have to rank them, it's gonna be near the bottom for me.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, so we've talked about that. So the next thing I was going to ask was going to be, obviously, putting aside Eve of the Daleks for a moment, as we're going to be talking about that in depth in a moment. Do you have any thoughts on the New Year's specials from the Chibnall era when it moved from Christmas to New Year? And I may as well include Spyfall Part 1. It did technically air on New Year's Day. So that's Resolution, Revolution of the Daleks, and Spyfall 1. Any thoughts overall? And Toby, I'll ask you first if you can recall what those are.
I mean, the episodes themselves are not bad. I think all of them are at least decent to good. Mm-hmm. So there's no problem with the episodes themselves. I do think New Year's Special is a little bit of a boring kind of idea.
Yeah, I really missed the Christmas specials. I was glad that Russell T Davies decided to bring them back, except this year there isn't one, unfortunately. But I suppose technically you can just rewatch all of The War Between if you want to.
I mean, at least the episode we are talking about does a little bit with the New Year's theme.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. It feels
Spyfall Part 1, which is just the first episode of the new series.
Yeah, that was most people don't include that because even though it was aired as, it's the New Year's Day, it's the episode, but it was literally just the start of that season. So there wasn't really one. But I'm with you. I don't feel like New Year is, and I think even the Daleks used the date the best out of them all. But I do like that it kind of forms a loose kind of Dalek trilogy, which is a nice idea.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, I do agree with that. That's a neat idea.
Anyway, so how about you anyway, Whaley? Your thoughts on the sort of New Year festive special?
I just say I prefer Christmas. I do like the Dalek trilogy on that, and I'm looking for the older New Year specials. I do, but I never necessarily thought they were New Year specials, but my brain doesn't think back that far. That was almost 20 years ago. But like, I love The Runaway Bride.
Oh, that's a Christmas special.
On here as considered a New Year's special.
No, it's a Christmas special.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. But it's saying it's on. Like, was that on? It says older. Maybe Google's being fun here, but it says older
only
New
other
Year's
special other than the 3 that I mentioned would have been The End of Time Part 2, because Part 1 aired on Christmas.
And The Next Doctor in 2008 is what it says.
Oh, that was also Christmas.
That was also considered Christmas. Okay.
These all came out on Christmas Day over here. I mean, they might have made a New Year.
You know what? They may not have come out to New Year's over here. Maybe.
Yeah.
No, maybe. Yeah, I don't remember. I was watching them, but I don't remember because we had to.
Okay, fair enough. That was going to be my next question, actually. So you've kind of led into that, because I was going to say,
that's what I meant to do. But...
do you have any kind of sort of rituals associated with watching the Doctor Who Christmas specials? Any sort of memories of them? Because I make it a point, if there's going to be one, of making sure I'm in front of the TV at the time that it goes out. I don't watch it on like catch up or anything. I always have my kind of whatever leftover bit of dinner, leftovers is left, just to nibble on while I'm watching. And I can remember most of them, but for some reason, my most vivid memories are of The Next Doctor, because it was the Christmas on that year when it snowed really heavily in this country, and was having all kinds of trouble getting to work and stuff around the festive season. And then on Christmas Day itself, we were just blanketed with snow. And so I could remember feeling incredibly festive when I was watching that episode. So it just really sticks in my mind as like, oh, a Victorian snowy Christmas. That's what it looks like outside. And I could recall it because I watched that episode and loved, even though most people didn't. Again, I loved it. I love the Cybermen. I was happy to see them at Christmas. So, yeah. So, yeah, anything that you guys have, Whaley?
I did like that episode. I don't necessarily have anything like a tradition or anything when doing it. I just, because they don't always air quite the same. Like Disney ones were airing, I think, at the same time, but with the new ones, but like Shooties and stuff. But yeah, no, I don't necessarily have any like traditions I do for them. I look forward to them when they were there, and I really want to watch them. And if it turns into where we like, because a lot of times when me and Rin will watch stuff like we have stuff, it's when we're sitting down for dinner. So maybe we're eating leftovers.
Yeah, fair enough. That's cool. That's
and stuff, and doing that, not worrying about any kind of work and stuff like that. So, but yeah, no, I don't necessarily think I have anything like I specifically do. Like we did something fun for the big 50th special. Like we had a bunch of people over, made a bunch of dishes for Doctor Who and different things like that. Like we did some of the stuff, the weird food creations that when Matt Smith first appears.
The fish fingers and custard and stuff.
Yeah, we did. We made custard and fish.
Cool. Awesome.
Tried it. It wasn't my favorite, but
that was actually just coconut, by the way, that he was actually eating. You couldn't just make that rather than having to actually.
But we were like, no, we're doing it like the character, not what they really did on set. And,
fair enough.
But no, we had Jamie Dodgers. We had we did a bunch of stuff. So we've done stuff for that in the past. But
cool.
But yeah, nothing for really the holiday ones, because most people are spending time with their families, so we didn't get together for that. But
that's fair.
But yeah, I love watching them, but I haven't done anything specific for them.
I presume, because I've never really had this experience, but I presume they still work as episodes if you're not watching them on Christmas Day. Then
yes, yeah. Cool. I think I do usually watch them on Christmas Day, but when we had that ability when they were here, but it just depends. Because like when it wasn't on a streaming service, when it was on a cable channel here, when we had BBC One, I think, like they weren't always the 50th. I know aired the same exact time because we got it here. Yeah. We got it here at like 2 p.m.
Yeah,
or 3 p.m. We did on a Saturday or whatever like that. So I know it was airing at the same time because they did that on purpose. But some of the other ones I don't think always air at the same time. Like I usually catch stuff the next day for some things that air, depending, unless in the world of news streaming, depending on where it's at, they air at the same time. But
okay, cool. So what about you, Toby? The same question. Do you always watch it on Christmas Day? Does it come to Germany at the same time? And do you have any memories or any rituals associated with it?
Well, I don't think I actually watched. Well, I think the only ones I watched live were the Disney ones.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure if I started with Series 11 or Series 10 buying them digitally to watch them in real time when they came out. So I'm not sure if I watched Twice Upon a Time when it came out or if that was later. Because initially, definitely with Series 9 and maybe with Series 10, I waited until cable TV, which took like 9 months or something.
Okay.
And then I started to just say, I'm not going to wait. So I just buy them, and they always then release the episodes at midnight. Thank you for that. I had to wait until midnight for the whole Jodie era. Very nice. Except the specials, which I obviously we learned I didn't buy, and I don't remember.
Apparently not.
I forgot.
Yeah, exactly.
I must have iPlayed them within VPN. It's the
okay.
Only explanation.
You perfectly legally watched them somehow. But no, that's fair enough.
Yeah, so the only ones are the Disney ones, and I don't really have any ritual. Well, I'm just watching them alone in my basement.
I mean, so am I, but I make sure I have a specific sort of... I would never have anybody else here in case they interrupted, to be perfectly honest with me. So, if nobody would dare kind of call me or talk to me or whatever during that being on, because I would be like, no. Doctor Who type. I'm still very old-fashioned like that. Yeah. Oh, even if it's an emergency, it can wait an hour. You better be literally like 5 minutes from bleeding out to death if you're calling me when Doctor Who's on. Anyway, but yeah, I can't believe I forgot to mention Twice Upon a Time. I'm sure I've probably told this story enough times that some people are sick of it, but I do have very special memories of that because I was entered into a raffle to see it early because it was touring around certain places, and so I got to see it like 2 or 3 weeks before Christmas Day at a local church in Newcastle, actually. Which is where it aired, and took a couple of friends from where I was working at the time, and it was so special because we had a chance to get a picture with a model TARDIS outside in a little snow scene that they'd set up, and it was really kind of cool and atmospheric watching it on like this big cinema screen inside of a church, sitting in the pews and everything, and and it was exciting because it was Peter Capaldi's last episode, and it was very emotional. I have to say they didn't include the very last scene. It just ended with Capaldi starting to regenerate, so we didn't see Jodie until Christmas Day. I don't quite know why, but but I've got such good memories of that one. So you've kind of already started us on the next question. I only have a couple more, but the next question was going to be, disregarding the festive setting, do you have any overall favorite specials? Because there's been a lot over the kind of the airing of New Who, like the season 4 Tennant specials, the 50th anniversary specials, the 60th specials, the Jodie specials, so do any of them stick out? And you've already mentioned, obviously, the Day of the Doctor Whaley is a big one for you because it was the 50th anniversary and it was a big moment.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely a big one. I'm probably going to have to say, I just make it easier on me is the 50th.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Getting them there on the screen at the same time is,
It was a big episode. I mean, a lot of fans loved it.
Very big episode.
For various reasons,
Comparing the sizes of the sonic screwdrivers.
Oh, there was so much in that. I mean, seeing John Hurt playing an incarnation of the Doctor. I mean, it probably necessarily wouldn't have held the meaning for you, but seeing Tom Baker appear at the very end was a kind of oh my God moment for us here. And just even that scene of like all the Doctors, even though it was just archive footage, we've been doing this a long time. No, sir, all 13. Just, incredible. Such a good anniversary episode. Just Moffat knocked it out of the park. But so anyway, Toby, any other special standout for you?
I mean, I think if we're talking about the collection, I would say the Tennant specials are the strongest collection of specials.
Okay.
Better than the 14th Doctor special, where I only really like Wild Blue Yonder and the rest.
I mean, there is the 3 Jodie specials or the 2 50th anniversary specials as well. So.
Yeah, the Jodie specials do get a little knocked down by Legend of the Sea Devils. I'm sorry.
I mean, other than that one, the other 2 I love, I have to say. But other than that one, letting the side down.
but from the Tennant specials, I like every one of these 5 episodes. And strongest, I really do like Waters of Mars. That's really good.
Yes, Waters of Mars is a definite fantastic episode. Yeah, a lot of people's favorite and just so good. Such a good episode.
Just well written, well acted, fun. Yeah, it's.
Yep, powerful ending. Just incredible. Yeah.
I do think Planet of the Dead is a little overhated. It's not that terrible, in my opinion.
I liked it again when I first saw it because I think I just always liked Doctor Who when I first see it, and then on rewatch I'm like, I can see why this is weak. To be perfectly honest,
I mean,
like
I don't think it's terrible. Great, but I think it gets a little overhated. I think a lot of people consider it to be like on the bottom of Doctor Who.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people who
so.
absolutely, a lot of people like who call themselves fans who absolutely hate the end of time, which I've never understood because I just think I loved those when they first went out.
Yeah.
You know, those two parts, it's the Tennant's big last episodes and lots is going on. The Masters there, the Time Lords and everything. And yeah, I don't understand the hate. Even like full on professional podcasters and stuff just really talk about that like they're the worst written, terrible episodes ever. And I'm like, oh, well,
Yeah, I didn't think that.
Yeah, I do think they have issues, but I just can't help but get wrapped around in the hype of it all.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's just so fun.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Yeah. There's so much going on. I have to give a special shout out to my other favorite, which is The Power of the Doctor. Again, I know it's not necessarily a popular opinion, but it was what the 60th anniversary specials should have been, a celebration of the kind of past of the show with seeing, you know, Tegan and Ace come back and the past Doctors come back in a clever way. And it was just and I was so devastated at Jodie's actually leaving as well. Like, yeah. As one of very few people that actually really loved her Doctor, I just really didn't want to see her go. And I still think it was far too soon. And she was marred by COVID and everything. And coupling that up with the kind of unrequited love thing, I was in bits by the end of that episode.
Yeah.
And
I do agree that it's a better celebration of the show than the 14th Doctor special. But I also think it was probably a good decision to not do it twice back to back. So,
well, I mean, Chibnall said the reason he didn't include any of the modern Doctors in The Power of the Doctor was that he assumed Russell T Davies would. With that bit of festive weirdness out of the way, I'm going to move on to Eve of the Daleks for our main review. It is the first of 3 special episodes that followed the previous series' Flux storyline. The episode was first broadcast on BBC One on the 1st of January 2022 as Doctor Who's almost annual holiday special. It was written by Chris Chibnall, directed by Annetta Laufer, and it serves as both a direct sequel to Flux and as the third and final part, as we mentioned, of a loose trilogy that developed in previous festive specials, Resolution and Revolution of the Daleks. It continues directly from the end of previous episode, The Vanquishers, which saw the Doctor's TARDIS still damaged from the Great Disruption. Attempting to reboot it, the Doctor accidentally traps Elf storage and everyone inside it within a time loop. It also dealt with the consequences of the Doctor allowing the Dalek Warfleet to be destroyed by the Sontaran Empire in the final Flux event, with Dalek executioners being sent to exterminate the Doctor in revenge. Notably, the episode was also the first to explicitly establish Yasmin Khan's feelings towards the Doctor as being romantically inclined. Certainly we'll be talking about that later. Eve of the Daleks was filmed in Bristol in June 2021 and was impacted by COVID-19 in its production process. Described as a bottle episode and a romantic comedy, it received positive reviews, which I was shocked to learn because most of my inner circle hates this. And it was viewed by 4.39 million people. But so I have to start like I always do then by asking, what were your first experiences and what impact did this have on you? Can you actually remember the first time you saw Eve of the Daleks, and did you initially like or dislike it? And Whaley, I'll ask you first.
I believe I watched it when it aired over here because I think we had caught up with the rewatch because it was Jodie's first season had been done when we started, and when Rune, because Rune had watched all the old Doctor, all the old stuff, and so we restarted again with Eccleston because they hadn't seen any of Tennant or Smith or Capaldi, and we did a whole rewatch and caught up, and then to where this season of Jodie's was. So I know I'm pretty positive we watched this live, but I remember liking it. I thought it was a fun time with the time loop and stuff like that. I thought it was an interesting way to do that, and also people like it's basically 2 people that somebody who had a crush, somebody who thought the other person was nuts, getting killed over and over and over again with each other as a very romantic first date.
Yeah, with the guest stars, you mean?
I did like that. And then trick the Daleks being extra pieces of shit as they are, like we have learned.
Yeah, but I love all that. I love when the Daleks aren't completely stupid, which is like, yeah, Sonic whatever does work. I've done it before, and it's like, correct. We've learned.
Yeah. They shoot the power out. I'm like, oh, you bitch. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's because they understood what was happening, and just like the Doctor did, and we're in a time loop.
Yeah, even when the Doctor's like, "Well, you exterminated us, and we're still here, so you failed," and it's like, "Yes, because there's some kind of time loop. Killing you now will be the correction."
But yeah, no, I do remember watching it like when it aired, and I enjoyed it. I love Jodie seasons, and this was a fun episode for me.
Cool. So how about you, Toby? Initial impressions of Eve of the Daleks. Did you even remember it very well?
I mean, I do remember that I really liked this episode. I'm surprised you said that the reception wasn't good, because I think that after this aired, I thought the reception was, well, for this era was positive.
Okay.
But
it depends who you talk to, I guess.
Era,
I just remember
it got a lot of hate, but I think in the context of everyone was hating this era, especially Flux, I thought this was received good, or it surprised me how well it was received after I watched it and went online.
Yeah. I guess it depends. Like I said, there were just certain people within my sort of social circle at the time that really didn't like it. And I know our friend Will Templar, I have to shout out, who absolutely detests it. He's written a long diatribe on Letterboxd about how he rates it like half a star, and it's one of the worst things he's ever seen. But I think that's
did the episode do something to him? Like
I know he really just didn't like the era, to be honest. And I think even though he wouldn't admit it, it's basically just bias, to be perfectly honest. But anyway,
that happens when you hate something, and you go in and you just and then when people tell you you're wrong for hating it, or not wrong, that your opinion doesn't seem like it makes sense, you hate it extra. So
of course, but I do think there are moments that could have been done differently. But I'm not the kind of person, and I don't understand the kind of person that sees a moment like this and it's immediately, this episode is ruined, bad, 0 out of 10. Yeah, that's a little weird, but that's okay. Like, as long as the rest of the episode and the writing is good.
I have a lot that I can praise. You know, I mean, I kind of wanted to make sure that I don't have Will's review because it's very long, but I wanted to make sure I've got some kind of potentially critical things in the critics section, and whilst also mentioning what the actual critics thought of this, which, like I said, really did surprise me, but we'll get to that. But it's an odd one, because I think there's people that genuinely don't like it, and I do wonder if if a large degree of those people are just like, I just don't like Chibnall and Jodie, and so I'm out for the whole era.
Yeah, it's the same people that had the hate with Jenna Coleman. It's just like they don't like any of that because they don't like the companion. They didn't like the companion, no matter how good an episode was. You know, it's the same thing. I don't know. There's some. I mean, people are allowed their opinions, obviously, but
absolutely. And I mean, if you're listening to this and you are one of, I mean, I have a lot of friends who don't like the era. Cliff Chapman, like I mentioned, has been on several episodes and disagrees with me vehemently. He hates Chibnall's writing in his era throughout, and probably doesn't like this episode. I don't know, but we still get on. He doesn't judge me for liking the episodes, and I don't hate him for hating the episodes. But yeah, I mean, I like it a lot. But I always liked. I wouldn't say all of Jodie's era. I can certainly see episodes, including some of what I would call the worst Doctor Who episodes in his seasons. But like I said, I was so emotionally moved by the power of the Doctor and loved that story so much. And yet the response I got from 50% of my friends was, it was terrible. What are you talking about? It's poorly written. It's awful. It was bad. It's typical Chibnall rubbish. And I'm like, oh, geez, just let me enjoy something.
Well, I was getting my life watching Power of the Doctor, so you're good with me.
Okay, cool.
I had a lot of fun with Power of the Doctor.
Yeah, I thought it was great. My thoughts on Eve of the Daleks are pretty clear. I like I said, this whole era, and I really loved Eve of the Daleks, as I'm sure I'll get into when we talk about it properly, because it had a lot of things that I like. I like the time loop idea. I like how clever it is. I like Daleks. I like Jodie's Doctor. I love Yaz. As you can see in my little profile picture, I've actually got my Jodie and Yaz figures in my little Dalek, because I've been using my Dalek models all through the Dalek series, and I was like, for a special treat for this one, I'm going to bring out my Jodie and Mandip figures. Yeah. So if you're wondering what that is, it's the 13th Doctor, Yaz, and a Dalek somewhere in the background behind them, though it's not the cool Executioner one with the like railgun, minigun weapon on it. So I like this a lot, and anyway, we'll dive into the bulk of the review then. So we're going to start, as we always do, with a little bit of behind-the-scenes stuff. So I will activate the time-space visualizer.
That meant that you could just tune in and see any event in history.
Yes, that's exactly what this is.
No, Doctor, you're kidding.
And there's not that much here, and I don't think it's anything earth-shattering, but if anything does stand out to you guys, feel free to let me know. So first of all, this is only the second Doctor Who story to take place on New Year's Eve after the 1996 TV movie. Introduced in the episode are a new version of the Daleks, as I mentioned, referred to as Executioner Daleks, Their design is a modified version of their 2005 appearance and features a new weapons arm that causes them to be described as deadlier than standard Daleks. I did find this fascinating. At 9 minutes and 10 seconds long, this episode features the longest cold open of any Doctor Who episode, beating the previous record that was held by The Return of Dr. Mysterio, the 2016 Christmas special. I'm sure you guys know this, but Johnny Dixon reprised his role as Carl Wright from The Woman Who Fell to Earth in a brief cameo near the end of the episode. If you didn't remember Woman Who Fell to Earth, that might have been a bit of a weird moment for you, but yes, that's what that's about. And finally, Sarah utters the phrase, "Oh, my giddy aunt," when she's annoyed by her mother calling her. This is famously a catchphrase of sorts that was frequently uttered by the second Doctor, and only hardcore geeks would have cared about that, but I'm one of them. So yeah. Anything there particularly notable? I don't think it's anything exciting, really, is it?
I think it's cool that it had the longest cold open, but I didn't notice necessarily.
No, I didn't. I didn't watch it and think, geez, when are the credits going to hit? You know, so because a lot goes on and it's a pacey episode anyway, so it doesn't feel like a long time has passed.
Yeah, correct.
So, yeah, cool. Well, we'll begin the analysis proper then. And we'll start, we'll break it down into the sections we always do. Just follow along. You won't get lost, I'm sure. And if the conversation flows a different way, I'll say we'll just follow it. Beginning with the writing and the plot, then, the only thing I have to kind of let you know is that Chibnall wrote the episode in a little over 2 weeks after his original plans for the episode had to be modified due to production concerns and budgetary issues caused by the impact of COVID-19 on television. Yes, this was not the originally intended episode. There wasn't going to be one for the longest time until Chibnall basically wrote something that could be done in effectively one set with as few people as possible. And I don't think until I read that I really noticed that, and then was like, that's actually really effective because it's part of the plot that they're trapped in this kind of self-storage. And yes, there's only 5 characters, 6 if you include the mum on the phone call, through the whole thing. And yeah, it works really well because you don't think, oh, this is a bottle episode made because of limitations. You just think it's the story they're telling, or I do anyway. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, I would say 7 characters, but not counting the mom, but because there's that person who sees the fireworks at the end.
Oh yeah, that's the guy from
both
first
the mom
episode.
and that person could be done on their own without having to do it.
Well, I did actually hear, because I have to say I watched the behind the scenes featurette and the commentary because I do have the Blu-ray for this, and because I'm a sad case, and I have to say the director in the commentary does mention that Pauline McLean, who by the way, shout out Pauline McLean, Mrs. Doyle from Father Ted. Great show. She actually filmed herself just using her phone. The director was on Zoom, like telling her what to do, but she was like, I didn't really have to tell her anything because it's just filming yourself on a phone. Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. Here's the lines.
Some people's, as they like to say on Pod Meets World, facting, their phone acting isn't always great. But but that's easy to do though, like with camera phones. Yeah. But no, that's interesting. Yeah, I would have assumed that they did it on their own, just because of COVID. Just like, hey, I don't have to go anywhere and be around other people. Sure.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, there were also the Dalek operators, I suppose, in there if you want to include them.
Oh yeah, I mean, there was still crew, but like actual cast. Yeah. And it's hard to get those tiny little mutants to. They've got a union. They've got so much stuff that they're doing.
We're not working without a lunch break.
Everyone must mask.
We don't have to. We have medal cases. But, you know for a fact it's the Daleks. They would be the full-on right-wingers. They'd be like, oh, wearing a face diaper, are we, Doctor?
Yeah. You are such snowflakes. But no, they would be. Yeah. I'm sure, but the actors playing those parts aren't necessarily. But
no, and Nick Briggs obviously does a great job in the voices, but we'll get to that when we talk about the acting
for sure.
I don't really have anything set because I just made random notes about this. But the first thing we have to talk about, I suppose, is the biggest part of the episode, which is the Thasmin reveal, as it were, as became their shipper name, because Yaz and the Doctor was something that's been brewing in the fandom under the surface there for a while, and I think most people were convinced it wasn't going to be addressed in the show, and then it was, and it was kind of a shock. And I think it's handled really well. I was never one of these. I'm never a shipper anyway. I don't make time for that kind of business, and I think it's been known to ruin some shows that I watch in the past. So I don't really spend a lot of time, pining for characters to get together, but I certainly didn't mind it, and I liked both of the characters. So when it happened, I was pleasantly surprised, and I thought that it was really well handled, with Mandip's kind of sentence about, I've never even admitted it to myself, meaning that, she's a lesbian or potentially bisexual, whatever, but, that she definitely has these feelings. And I love, again, I've mentioned off air, I love Dan as a character, and I love that he just basically cuts straight through the bullshit from the start. He's like, yeah, you like her? Are you going to say something? And then to the doctor later, instead of like pussyfooting around, he's like, she likes you. I like her too. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, but you're pretending you don't. Just get over yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah, just why not? Just cut through the BS. And like he says to Yaz, like he's been in that situation with Diane back in the Flux season. Like, I waited far too long to tell somebody I liked her, and look what happened. So yeah, I love all that. So what do you guys think?
So when you're honestly, in his take is very real with because also like y'all are always almost dying.
Yeah.
Like, Doctor's Companions, some of which don't have a great success rate doing that. Say something now. Like, why wait?
Yeah. But yeah, I do love that they kind of, it became, because it was a criticism that some people had, and then it became part of the plot that when Yaz is like, we're not going to get it, are we? That moment where we just sit on a beach and you tell me everything you've been through and we actually talk to each other. And it's like, that's the point. It's the Doctor avoiding that, not the writers doing it. It's that she's uncomfortable. And I love a lot of it happens that we can't really say because it's not in this episode, but this is the start of that ultimately, and it's, it was a nice, pleasant surprise for me. What did you think, Toby, about that?
I mean, this episode, it's done very well. So, and for all the reasons you already said, we don't need to repeat that. And I think in the following episodes, it's done as well as possible, given the limited amount of time we have with them. And it was a surprise that this happened, and I'm just going to say, I do not believe for 1 second if anyone tells me that this was planned from the beginning. I do not believe you.
Okay. Yeah.
I do not believe you.
No.
I love that.
No, I don't.
Have your head
I don't
canon.
think it was. Yeah.
Chris Chibnall, if you try to tell me that, I do not believe you. You are lying.
Yeah. And I just know, here's the thing, with the way writing works on a lot of TV and stuff like that too, is that there are very famous things where people got on and they just worked so well that, like, hell, Breaking Bad, Jesse Pinkman, he wasn't supposed to last more than a couple episodes. Like, that character was supposed to die within like 3 episodes. And him and Walter White were such a cool, like, it was such chemistry the actors had that they decided to continue. And then, of course, he goes the entire run, spin-off, and everything else like that. So when characters come in and the actors, the chemistry and stuff like that, plans change all the time. So I could see that wasn't I 100% agree. I don't believe that it was written originally, like, planned that way.
No, but the chemistry between the actors was there, and like I said, the audience were the ones that made it happen because they picked up on it, and it was. I think it's a credit to Chibnall that he picked up on it and acknowledged it.
Like, I feel like whatever people picked up is far more subtle than.
Oh yeah.
Than it
but
is in
at least
other shows where it is very blatant.
Yeah,
yes.
And the thing with the Doctor too is the Doctor's neither a man or a woman, so. Like,
well,
I would just go back to what the 12th Doctor said, that they're just so beyond that.
Yeah,
they're beyond gender.
Beyond
exactly.
that layer.
They're beyond gender. And here's the thing, like,
the only assignment on what is happening on screen is what we assign them towards.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any right or wrong in whatever you want to assign.
Exactly. And to be fair, the episodes that we're talking about, the whole Dr. Yaz thing, it never really addresses the Doctor's. It's not a question of sexuality for her. It's not about I'm a woman now. Do I like women? It's more about Yaz. Like, I've not addressed
Figuring
that
out.
I like women. So the Doctor's sexuality never comes into it, and she just fully addresses. Yes, I do like you like that, but it's not because I don't like women that we can't be together. Here are the other various reasons, and they make sense. Again, not in this episode, unfortunately, but yeah, I mean, I liked it. I think the chemistry I did sense was there, and it's just obvious that it's because Jodie and Mandip are just really good friends.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough, but the fact that they were able to take it there with the acting and that Chibnall was able to write it in, I think pleased a lot of people. And why the heck not? You know,
I know.
no harm in it. So, for me anyway. So yeah, I kind of liked it.
I will always be for representation, even if it's bad. Give me not that this is bad, but in general.
No, but you're absolutely right. I mean, even if it had been bad, it would be a step forward to have like two women in a kind of and not make a huge deal out of it, and yet actually have Yaz be like, I've not admitted it to myself, because that is some people's experience, and it's nice to have an experience that, you know, in this little funny knockabout episode, have a moment that could mean the world to somebody somewhere that's like, oh shit, I relate to that, you know. So it's it gets me emotional seeing shit like that, because I'm like, yeah, why the heck not, man? You know. And like I said, I do like that Dan was there to just cut through the BS and be like, we're not having 3 episodes of pining. Let's just address this now.
We need to move the plot forward, please.
Yeah, exactly.
Get over it.
So moving on from that anyway, but in a kind of related way, I know a lot of people that have a real issue with Nick's character, the guest star in the episode, because, and again, they mention it in the episode, his behavior is kind of weird and stalkery towards Sarah, and, you know, why do you keep all this stuff from your ex-girlfriends? Are they all alive? Kind of thing. I never minded it, because I always read it as I presume it's supposed to be, which is just kind of as a joke. And I didn't take it any further than that in my head. So, yeah, I mean, I never cared. I didn't think he was a bad bloke or anything. And I don't know. I can kind of see where you're coming from with the stalker thing, but they do address that, where he's like, well, I didn't do anything about it. And yes, it was dumb of me and silly, and I've been pining like this for too long and everything, but
like, it's even the way it's said in the episode makes perfect sense to me. It was like, it's a little stalker. He's like, well, I just think it's unrequited. I never thought it was like, is it bad? But did he ever do anything that made them uncomfortable? No, because she didn't even realize, you know, doing that. If he had done stuff to make her uncomfortable and doing that, her only uncomfort was having to come in and let him in on a time she'd rather be partying.
Yeah.
You know, sort of thing. So like, that was the only, it wasn't like it was something like, hey, we're spending time together. He wasn't. He was doing stuff in his storage units.
Yeah. And I didn't even care about the plot about like holding on to your girlfriend stuff, even if it's really silly, your ex-girlfriends, in case they ask for it back, because I don't know, some people just do things like that. And again, there was no harm in it. He wasn't doing it out of, you know, like a serial killer collecting trophies or something stupid.
Yeah.
It's more awkward than just stalking or anything.
It wasn't gross stuff either. It was like, oh, they left their shoes. Oh, they left their, you know, it wasn't like
incomplete Monopoly or whatever.
Use toiletries. Like, it wasn't anything gross.
No.
Like this is all their toenail clippings. It wasn't.
But no, I mean, like you said, some people do have a problem letting go, and I do think it's addressed brilliantly with one of the best lines of the episode when he's hiding behind all the stuff that he piles up, and the Dalek just blasts it, and he's like, "Thanks a lot for the therapy, terminated." Brilliant. That's
it's great. That's what he needed. He needed to do that to get rid of it. It helps him. But this is what happens when you don't go to therapy, when you need to go to therapy.
Exactly. Yeah. But no, I mean, he at least comes to the revelation by himself, because he does have that scene with Sarah earlier where he's like, they're not going to ask for any of their stuff back, are they? She's like, no, of course not. But you know, some people are hoarders. It's not. That's
the thing. Well, also people are they work the way their brain thinks, are very much considerate, and just like, well, what if this person wants this back? You know, that's a very simple thing, and just like that, I don't want to be thrown out and have someone call me and go, hey, do you have my shoes that I left over there? And just like, oh crap, I threw those out. I thought you didn't want them anymore. Now, granted, there's a time limit. Like, if I held on to something for somebody, it'd be like, oh, if I haven't talked to this person in 2 years, that's going in the trash. Or like, if it's shoes, it's going to go to Goodwill, or not Goodwill, a thrift store or something else like that for donation.
I can also see, though, if you've got a kind of storage unit and you've got all that space, that you'd just be like, oh, why the heck? Just keep it.
Yeah, but I guess I wouldn't have labeled it quite like that. I also I would have boxed it up.
Yeah,
like it would have been like a shoebox labeled this, a shoebox labeled this. It wouldn't have been out on the shelves like that. Like, you don't.
Oh, see, I would have totally done that because I'm autistic, so I fully would have had them shelved with the person's name on it and everything, just for ease of access.
Here's the thing. My problem with it is I'm also autistic. I wouldn't have. The whole problem was him seeing it at home, and he's got a small place. I wouldn't then want to see it as displayed on a shelf, which is what it was.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah, like I was saying, like he did specify, like, oh, seeing it, and then I've got no space for it. Like it looks like it's on display. Like I could still have it and didn't put it in something that shows what it is, whose it is. Also takes up way less room. I guess that's my other organization thing with it. It's taking up so much room doing it like that. But
again, I think it comes down to sort of TV literacy to the point where you're like, the episode isn't presenting him as creepy; it's doing it for the joke.
Yeah,
and you kind of have to you have to shrug and be like, it's just an attempt at humor. It's harmless. You can find it unfunny if you want to, but don't pretend.
Yeah, no. I did. I found it humorous and stuff like that, exactly. And but when it started, well, that's a little stalkery and stuff like that later, and I was like, if you add them up, I could see that being that way, but. A combination of unflattering, but I think they needed to make him that for it to work for them getting together. Like it needs something for them to overcome to get together.
Oh, definitely. And I don't think he's the most well-written kind of unlikely, meet cute romantic comedy lead. I don't think Chibnall's particularly strong at doing that. It's not going to be a Richard Curtis kind of situation. And he writes Sarah a lot better than he writes Nick for whatever reason, but I certainly don't have an issue with him as such. I just think he's not as realistic of a character as Sarah, whether it's because of Aisling's acting or the way she's written or whatever. She just feels believable and fun and funny and kind of, you immediately latch onto her.
Exactly.
But, fair enough. So the next big thing I was going to mention plot-wise was obviously the time loop. Without getting into the kind of idea of what was the reason behind it, because I've always just read it as it was the TARDIS, either by error or to deliberately protect them. And I don't mind that they keep it vague and go, I don't know what it was. Maybe it could be anything. But, for me, I always understood it as being what it is. And if you want to leave it vague, I guess, fair enough. But I do think there's some really clever stuff in amongst it and the way that it links things together. And I don't know. I mean, do you guys find it clever? The idea that, it's a well-worn trope, but, instead of repeating itself over and over again, it gets shorter by a minute each time so that you actually have that moment of danger instead of just, we have to get out of this, we're going to be stuck in it forever. It's actually literally giving you a countdown to destruction, I guess, to the actual end of events. And like I said, tying that into the fact that the Daleks were there to try and kill them. And so that gave you the chance to, have your lead characters killed and then have them come back, which is so clever because it's not the Daleks that are doing it. Those are just, incidentally related, coincidental, I guess, plots. And yet, work really well together.
I really like it. It gives the episode a sense of urgency and danger that time loop often maybe doesn't have. When it's just like, you need to beat them and then you get out of the time loop, then there's not really that much of a danger unless it's somehow impossible or something. But this gave the episode a sense of danger that we only have this amount of times we can try this, and if we fail, then that's it. And it also pulls the focus maybe a little bit away from how are they actually going to finish it to more of an action focused part, and I think that makes also sense for this episode in school.
It also gives you the chance for the Doctor's speech that ultimately does reinforce the point, which is just like, we're trying, we fail, we regroup, we try again, and ultimately we're gonna win. We just have to have confidence in that. But again, it gives you the chance to see them fail in a way that you wouldn't have. I mean, you wouldn't get to kill off your characters multiple times in any other circumstance. But were either of you shocked when you saw that first extermination? When the Doctor was like, not like this, and then the Doctor and the companions get killed, were you like, what the?
My first thought, like, it was surprising, and then I was like, wait, there should be a regeneration here. Is what came to mind, and then it just, but that's why it cuts fast from that to
the credits,
like doing that, and I was like, oh, timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly as well. It just went through my head immediately. And it was like, let's see where this is going. So it was shocking for a split second, but then my logical part of my Vulcan part of my brain was like, well, there's something else happening here. Let's give it a second before I make it.
Yeah.
But before I snap to judgment.
Sure. I have to add that Jodie Whittaker in the interviews on the Blu-ray says that when she first read the script, she thought they were writing her out earlier than anticipated. She got to that part of the script and was just like, I'm sure I was supposed to be coming back to film a regeneration episode, wasn't I?
Two more episodes of David Tennant.
Exactly, yeah.
He's just going to put on a blonde wig and play you for those other two.
No, I mean, I really like a lot of... I love... Because I'm so familiar with the trope as a sci-fi fan and a Star Trek fan that's seen this a million times, I love that it doesn't spend unnecessary time with them not being aware of it either. Like, as soon as the first time loop's done, they're like, deja vu, we've just been killed, we remember it. Because there are so many Star Trek episodes that are only 45 minutes and they spend a good half of it with, like... They're time looping, but they don't remember what happened in the previous loop. And they've got it, and I'm just like, oh, we've seen this already. This is just repeating the same scene over and over. And there's nothing more annoying and worse than just repeating it exactly as is over and over. So I love that it's like, no, we remember. We know exactly what's going on.
Especially when the audience is aware of it.
Yeah.
Like it's one of those things is just like, okay, like you're mad at the characters for not realizing it sooner kind of thing, unless it's a complete memory wipe, and that's different. But that's also 45 minutes is not enough time for that. But yeah, no, I like the immediate like, hey, and I like how they did it too. I like the like they're like, wait a minute, this seems familiar. Like it just like in the way they it just I thought worked very, very well for that.
The fact that they use, I mean, this is such a minor thing, but they use pop culture savviness as well. And again, it's quite a funny moment when I think it's on the third loop around that they just look at each other and Jodie and Mandip just both go time loop. And at the same time, Dan goes Groundhog Day. Same thing. Like, exactly. We're familiar enough with the concept that we're just like, all right, we know what this is. You know, instead of them going like, oh, it appears that things are re-looping over and over again. And what are we going to do? And again, nobody, even those critical of the episode, nobody's questioned like how they maintain their memories of the previous loop, because there's no necessary reason why, but it's just exactly who cares? It would be so dull if they didn't. You know?
Also, I love how they have this brief moment of remember and then immediately go back to action.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, oh, deja vu. Oh. Dang. So yeah, no, it like I said, it gives you the chance for them to realize their mistakes and try to do things differently in the various loops, which gives it a bit more of a dynamism, a bit more interest. And you then get the Daleks doing the same. Like, okay, we're learning as we go as well. You know, we're learning that you're trying to evade us this way, so we're going to try and counteract you that way. And I absolutely love the genius idea, because it never would have occurred to me, even though it's simple, that the Doctor's like, okay, the second to last loop, we just make a decoy. We do something that we have no plans on doing, but the Daleks will think, we're bettering you because we're going to know what you're doing. And then we're doing the complete opposite because that loop didn't matter. It was just a decoy. And I was, genius.
Daleks being taken down by their own hubris is, is what's happening. Yeah, it's, it makes sense. And, the Doctor does it well.
But why would they think of that? I mean, the Daleks, we know that they're notorious kind of mechanical, logical thinkers. So why would they be like, we know what they're planning, but what if they know that we know? But what if they're double bluffing? They wouldn't think that much. They'd just be like, this is what they did. So yeah, it was.
They're also we've discussed they're completely right wing. They're gonna think they're right all the time.
Exactly, as they do. Yeah. Exactly,
I'm obviously right. I got all my information from Facebook memes, and I'm 100% sure I know everything.
That's it. Yeah. Let me see. The only other thing I've kind of got here is just a few things I wanted to mention that were amusing and stuff that I really liked that worked in the episode for me. So the first one is the idea that it's elf storage, which keeps it as seasonal. Yes. And the reveal halfway through of just like, the S just fell off.
Yeah.
Such a simple, effective joke. I love that when, Nick facing the Daleks and he just ducks and they kill each other and he's just so proud of himself and like, don't mess with a Rasta. Yep.
But I also love immediately the 13th Doctor just clocking what happened. Like,
calm down. So I've heard some people complain that the Doctor repeats the line she didn't hear, because when Nick's asking about like, what kind of things can you not have? And is there anything that if you set fire to it, would it cause an explosive situation? And the Doctor says the same thing later. And I'm like, the episode isn't positing that she heard it. It's there for the audience to recognize the familiarity. It's just a coincidence in an episode that's filled with them. Why would you have an issue with just that one?
For sure.
I've never really had a problem with that myself. I love how cocky the Doctor is when they're sitting there during that kind of decoy, and it's just like just sitting here having some beef and beans. Might chuck on the hootenanny later. What about you? And I have to ask, as as two people who aren't from this country, do either of you have any idea what she's talking about when she said she might chuck on the hootenanny?
No.
Well, here's the thing. Over here, to me, that just means party. So I assumed it was some sort of party, but I don't necessarily know if it means something else.
Yes and no. It's kind of we have an annual thing that airs on New Year's Eve with a guy called Jules Holland, who he does a show regularly throughout the year, but he's kind of like he's a former jazz musician and stuff, and he does have guests and they do perform live music and occasionally chat and whatever. And every year at New Year's Eve they have Jules Holland's annual hootenanny. So she's basically saying the equivalent of I might chuck on Dick Clark's New Year's Eve for an American audience. Yeah. But yeah,
so
it was
not,
as I was watching that.
Completely a far wrong guess, but
Yeah. No, I mean you were right. Yeah.
Yeah. It was some sort of party, but I didn't know if it meant like it was some sort of annual actual my work or my friend puts on something. We call it the hootenanny every year, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I was aware that joke probably wouldn't have translated, and as I was watching it, I was like, I wonder if these guys do know what she's talking about with that, because just the idea I'm going to chuck on this New Year's Eve TV, have a can of beans.
That actually, was probably a little different than what I thought, but I got you.
I do like the emotional reality of Nick's sacrifice, which again I think some people have had issues with, but I like he does that because it makes sense when he's made to feel guilty about Sarah saying you're the only reason I'm here and everything, and then he does go and sacrifice himself. He doesn't know that it's ultimately futile. And, it's nice when Sarah says, well, why did you do that? Was it because of something I said? Because don't be ridiculous kind of thing. I like it. I think it fits into that plot of the two of them really well.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you feel the same way, Toby?
Yeah.
Cool. Again, so many people have an issue with the fact that the Dalek, which, they're so powerful, but it took them a long time to break through a door. I'm like, they often do that. And again, I just love the Doctor's sarcasm of congratulations, the most evil creature in the universe successfully vanquished an old door. Yeah. And again, for those who are criticizing, the Doctor knows the time loops end at midnight because she scanned them with the sonic screwdriver, and it does tell her this. Again, so many of the complaints that I saw from random people were just like, how does she know arbitrarily that it ends at midnight and resets? Because she scanned and found out. That's how. Pay attention.
Someone watched too much Cinema Sins, please.
Yeah, I mean, really. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I think there are people out there that 100% look for these things on purpose to try to let's try to find everything wrong, and it's just because of stuff like Cinema Sins and stuff, and it's just when you look for it, it's gonna give you things that aren't actual sense. But if you just see them, that doesn't make any sense. Sure, write it down, comment on it. But when you're searching everything for something, you're gonna find things that are wrong that aren't wrong because you're just misinterpreting or just not remembering or just because you aren't watching. You're looking for things. You're not actually watching what you're looking at.
Also, I think there's a difference between just noting something that didn't quite make sense, that didn't quite work, and
absolutely
pretending that it's ruining the episode. And Chris Chip is the worst writer ever because there is some line that didn't make sense.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm happy to note things that are it's weird that this thing happened because the people that, for example, that would be this episode or this film is set in 1957 and yet this record didn't come out till 1959. It's clearly terrible. I'm make a note of it. It's interesting, but it doesn't ruin the episode or the thing for me.
Exactly.
And there may be something somewhere where the director came out and said, "Yeah, we decided to keep it like this because it worked better." There's tons of stuff in Hollywood for over the years of stuff. People are like, continuity error. They didn't catch this, and it's just no, they did. They made a conscious decision to use it that way.
Anyway. No, I think I like that. I like the kind of good-hearted weirdos are the keepers, and the way that feeds into the Doctor and Yaz's thing. And I love Sarah as a character, as I've already said, but I love her relationship with her mom and the fact that when she's been through all this, she's absolutely. First of all, I love the way that Aisling's I'm so tired after so many of these loops because it's so relatable. And then, of course, when her mum calls at the very end, she's just I just want to say I love you. And her mum's are you drunk? No, I'm not drunk, Mammy. Are you dying? No, Mammy. because again, it's kind of relatable and funny. And
Yes.
My very last question then before I move on or throw open to you guys. Which one is most likely? Time loops, killer robots, or 3 people from the council working on New Year's?
It's obviously the people from the council.
So many good lines in this, man. Just funny stuff that I'm like, yeah, I appreciate that. That's cool. Especially for like written in 2 weeks. That's pretty whip smart if you ask me. But,
well, you know what? It was written in 2 weeks, but I'm sure there was stuff in there. Like, unless the story was just completely different. Like, that's something you can do all the time. And just like, oh, there's these great jokes in here. We'll figure out what we are, and then just to tweak them a little bit. And
completely, yeah. But, did you guys have any last thoughts on the writing before I move us along a bit?
Not really.
No, I don't. I think we covered everything. I'm trying to think.
Was there anything that you didn't think particularly worked, so that I can pretend that I'm being fair?
No, I didn't think anything really didn't work or was blatantly, like, oh, this didn't seem right, or writing wise. So
yeah, fair enough.
No, same.
like the only thing I say is maybe Nick's character could be written a little better, but that's like, I'd say he's the weak link of it, but I don't think he's bad at all.
Yeah, fair enough. So I don't have much on the directing. Once again, Eve of the Daleks, as I said, was directed by Annetta Laufer. She was hired by producer Sheena Buktawansing. Again, sorry if I butchered that. She was impressed by a short film of Laufer's. Robin Wenery was the episode's cinematographer. Laufer and Wenery collaborated on creative ways to frame the Daleks, using cinematic techniques to make them appear more intimidating. They utilized long shots, haze, smoke machines, and creative lighting methods. And I really did notice that. I really appreciated that. I thought a lot of the deliberate Dutch angles to keep you off kilter, because you're supposed to feel, pressure and nerves and everything. And I noticed the mist and the atmospheric lighting, the fact that it's like bright red at certain times, it goes green at certain times, and it's solidly bathing you in those colors. It adds to the kind of feeling of claustrophobia as well, that you're locked in this storage unit, which obviously I presume they weren't. I'm guessing it was a set, but I effectively was like, oh, they're stuck there. And I like that. Again, it's a little small thing, but I like that because it's New Year. Of course, there are still like Christmas trees in the lobby and things like that. Why not? It makes it feel just of the time a little bit better. If I have one criticism, it's that the directing for me has a few too many just shots of head and shoulders reactions, which is kind of it's a sign of a director who's solid but doesn't really have the creativity to be able to kind of do much more. But I think that's not so much the director as the medium of television. And you're told to get this kind of coverage, and we want to see X character's reaction to Y, and we can't have them on screen together. So again, it doesn't hugely bother me. Anything from you guys from the direction that stood out?
Not really. Like I thought it was, it was good. I didn't. There wasn't anything that made me go ugh. And that's what I take for when it's amazing, like that. There's something more that it stands out that. But when it's just good directing, which there's a lot of good directing, as long as nothing made me go, oh, what was that choice? Like I think it's a good job, and I guess that's what.
I did find the Daleks intimidating personally. I don't know about you guys. I mean, as much as you can, because obviously they're not going to ultimately win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I thought they were shot like you described there, that how they were shot, stuff like that. They did make them and because they were more intimidating to me than they normally are, because the very first time you see them, they just straight up kill everybody. Like exactly. It's just like oh, this is no joke. I mean, we know that Doctor's gonna find a way out of it at the end, but it's still just like, oh shit, it's not just like a run around and try to escape for a while thing. It's they're getting killed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Cool. What about you, Toby? Anything?
Yeah, I don't really have any notes for the directing as well. I think it was pretty good, but there's not. I think there was a lot of stand out necessary, but yeah, like you said, it's TV directing. It's always going to be a little bit like getting the job done.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Kind of the nature of TV, and I think for the TV directing job, this is pretty good.
Cool. Well, in that case, I'll move to the acting. I've mentioned already about Jodie Whittaker's thinking she was getting killed off. Under her, I've just got a few few moments of her that I really liked, because again, she gets a lot of criticism, but I think there's little moments that she really shines. So I like, finding the the piles of beef and beans and say, oh, who wants beef and beans? Nobody by the looks of it. These are 3 years out of date, just offhand. Or I won't let you die because of decisions I've made was a really powerful moment to Yaz. But, you know, the typical doctory thing of I haven't seen this much gunpowder since 1605. Look it up, kids. Somebody called Guy Fawkes she's referring to. And again, because it's so doctory, I absolutely love how cocky she is when she's like, took you long enough. I'm not even wearing a watch, just doing it for show. Brilliant. I've already mentioned Mandip. I really like kind of having the emotional moment, and I've never admitted to myself. I thought that was powerful. John Bishop, I just think really underrated. It's bizarre that he's faced the Daleks more often than Ncuti Gatwa, who wanted to face them. As I was watching this, I thought of that. And I just love that he's such a typical kind of, again, it's probably going to be lost on you guys, but he's a typical kind of Scouser character, somebody from Liverpool, basically. So when he finds out where they are, he's like, Manchester, oh, Manx, New Year's Manx. Oh. And I kind of love his subtle facial gestures as he's confused about what's going on. And then like, oh, he's confident when the doctor is, and kind of, you know, again, his moment of like, I'm going to distract the Dalek because you saved the universe last week, so I think I owe you one. And I so love his scene with the Dalek. I think it's just so funny and yet brave, where he's like, all right, mate, I've got some things to store. We do not store things. Well, you're in the wrong line of work then, aren't you? You know, I want to speak to your manager. Daleks don't have managers. Well, maybe that's your problem. Yeah, kind of, this is a distraction. Well, took you long enough. Yeah. And then when he comes back at the end, oh, yeah, I'm back. Thanks would be nice. And like I said, just cutting through the BS with the Doctor and Yaz, I really did like. And I like that it's throughout all of their episodes, but I do like the kind of the different chemistry that John Bishop and Mandip Gill have. The kind of like, oh, you don't make fun of my mate. That's my job. Thanks, Sheffield. Yeah. The kind of thing that they have going on. We all love Aisling Bea. We've already mentioned both off air and on. I was not surprised, but kind of pleasantly liked to hear that Chris Chibnall revealed that he wrote the role of Sarah specifically for Aisling Bea.
Nice.
So, yeah. Casting Ajani Salmon, who plays Nick, was the idea of Rebecca Rowan, the script editor of the program. And again, Aisling and Ajani are both from comedy, which I think is why they have the kind of comedy chops and the kind of chemistry that they have going on. Yeah. Other than that, I have to just mention, I'm sure you guys maybe picked up on this. Well, maybe not. There's a very deliberate joke written into the script when Sarah turns around to say, "Is that you, Nick?" And the Dalek says, "I am not Nick." The Dalek operator, or the Dalek voices, throughout New Who has always been provided by Nicholas Briggs. So yes, Chris Chibnall admitted to Nick Briggs when he saw him, I deliberately did write that because you are Nick, and I thought that would be faintly amusing. I was like, that's a kind of a little thing that you don't need to know that, but if you do, it gives you a little chuckle. So yeah, that's all I've got about the acting. But again, did you guys have anything we haven't already mentioned? I think we've mentioned our highlights and who stands out and who's a little bit less impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Aisling Bea. Like I mentioned that off air, and I thought everybody else, did great. Like there was, I mean, 7 total actors. Yeah. One on the phone, one just watching the fireworks. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I didn't have anything, that stood out as bad. So I thought everybody did a great job.
And it's something that comes up 1,000 times, but I have to say again, Nick Briggs is really good at differentiating the Dalek voices because they do sound a bit more, I don't know, gruff and scary because they're the Extermination Squad ones. They don't quite sound the same, so the voice is just a little bit scarier, a little bit deeper.
Yeah,
for me anyway. And yeah. And about you, Toby? Anything from the acting?
I mean, no one is doing a bad job. Let's just say that right off the gate. Again, I cannot understand how people can say that Jodie Whittaker's acting is bad when I just think she is great in this episode, but in general, yeah, I just don't get it. But that's just me.
Yeah,
but I don't get hating any doctor.
Yeah.
No, true.
I mean, I think I don't know where we had this discussion, probably on the Discord somewhere, but every doctor is great in some way. Like, sure, we have our favorites and our not so favorites, but like, I don't have any problem with any of them, and that includes Jodie. She's great.
Yeah, I really like Jodie. I mean, I don't know why I responded to her as I did. I just did. from moment one. And like I said, as soon as I was collecting the merchandise, I got the action figures, and I don't know. I think I was maybe part of it was just relief that we'd never had a female Doctor before, and when we did, she just felt so doctory immediately, and I was immediately put at ease and was like, okay, this is cool for me. So yeah, but I think she's great. Like I said, she embodies the Doctor. And again, I've seen people complain about her speech in this episode. I really like it. It works for me as the kind of, rallying speech. We get together, we try, we fail, we try again, and yeah.
Yeah, I do agree that the speech is great. And I mean, I can kind of see how the placement of it is maybe a little awkward. Like, I can sense that, but I don't agree with that. But I can sense that, but I don't think it's an acting issue.
No, definitely not. No.
Definitely not.
Fair enough.
No.
I'm just going to rattle through what I have for the VFX production design and the music and sound, because it's not much. And again, we're coming up on time here. So obviously it's self-contained for obvious reasons, but I think it's a realistic looking storage unit. I've already mentioned the Daleks are great. The techniques mentioned above make them kind of scary. And I did like that there is a glimpse of the Dalek creature when it's blown apart. You actually see what's left of the mutant kind of writhing around in there. I always appreciate that, as well as appreciating the fact that it gets pointed out that they're not robots, because I'm just that much of a nerd. So yeah, when Sarah and Nick are constantly like, we're being chased by robots. Daleks. Oh my God, you know the robots' names. And yeah, for music and sound, it's a Sega Nakanola score, which for me, like all of them, it's good in places. Sometimes it's a little bit unremarkable, but it's never bad for me. Some of it I really liked. And this is a really nerdy sound note, but I always like hearing the TARDIS cloister bell to tell you that there's an immediate danger, because it just, it's a nice shorthand for, oh, shit's about to hit the fan. Yeah. I appreciated that. And yeah, it was nice that the episode opened with the very on the nose, what do you do on New Year's Eve? A song which I've had on a Christmas album for years, and so I've heard way too many times. So yeah, any thoughts on any of that you guys want to quickly mention?
I mean, I'm a music and TV.
Yeah,
it's
just
person.
Fair enough.
I know when something is great, but otherwise I just don't notice.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I mean. There was a couple of things that I was like, oh, I like this. This stands out, and the rest of it was kind of like, it was there. It's not bad. It didn't offend me or anything. But yeah. So yeah. What about you, Whaley? Anything?
Same. It's one of those.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I know it doesn't make the interesting for the podcast for that, but there's just not much.
Well, we filled plenty of time with other stuff. It's fine.
Yeah, we did.
So yeah, before we go to the audience's thoughts and our final feelings, I want to do what I always do, which is to ask your favorite character, moment, and line in the episode. Again, sorry if you've not remembered this was coming. Whaley, I'll start with you. Favorite character, favorite moment or scene, and favorite line.
Favorite character is going to be Sarah. I just love Aisling. I think she's great. Favorite moment is, I think, I really like the when Sarah calls her mom in the elevator when she knows that it's this is going to work or it doesn't kind of thing, and that to me was very sweet. Like the juxtaposition between her being sarcastic and funny and everything else like that to being sincere. Was great, and I just thought it was a good moment with her mom. Favorite line? I think it's going to be Nick's line where it's not when he was like I said it earlier. It's not stock. It's unrequited. But that made me laugh.
Cool, awesome. All three good choices. How about you then, Toby?
Favorite character goes to the 13th Doctor because she's great, and I want to shout her out again. Favorite moment, maybe moments would be better. I think I'm gonna go with the two shipping moments.
Okay, right, cool. Yeah, those are nice.
I just think it's cool that they did that. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Did
you have a favorite line you can remember?
Yes. Thank you, the Doctor Who Scripts website, for that. Shout out.
Cool.
It's a website that has just every Doctor Who script as transcript, and love you.
Nice.
Thank you for that. And it is when Nick kills the both Dalek, and it's like, it was a lot of strategic analysis, weapons assessment, and battle-ready thinking. Did you, Doug? Yeah, nice.
You stole mine, but I also have the second half, so I'll mention that as my favorite when we get to it. So awesome. Yeah. Well, favorite character. I like everyone in this, actually. It's a rare instance. I think everybody's my favorite character. Sarah was very close to being my favorite, and obviously I love the Doctor, but for a standout, I've got to give it to my underrated legend, Dan. Just such a good companion, man. I still think he was so hard done by, and he doesn't get enough credit. And again, shout out to John Bishop, Aisling B, and Johnny Salmon, who all, by the way, are not actors by trade initially. They all started out as stand-up comedians, and yet all give great performances in this. So, yeah. My favorite moment, as I said, is the idea of the decoy loop forming and the Doctor's just defiant cockiness of like, all right, Daleks, I'm just sitting here having beans, watching the Hootenanny. Any plans? Seeing friends? And yeah, my favorite line was, I had both halves, but you took the first half. So I will add that my favorite line is, yeah, just took two of them out, huh? Yeah, 2 top level ones as well. They were the same as the others. Don't milk it. So, yeah, with that out of the way, we will move to our audience feedback then. We're going to open the Subspace network, the Subwave network, I should say.
I'm transferring the Subwave network.
I do, as I said, have a critic's response, but I want to start with the very small audience responses that I did get, a majority of which come from Letterboxd, so thank you if you left a Letterboxd review. The first one is from our friend George White. Hello, George, from the Pasty Sheep podcast and such. He says, Chibnall's Dalek stories are better than Moffat's Dalek stories and probably Russell T Davies, if we're honest, except maybe Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways. Okay. Moving over to Letterboxd, because that was literally the only... Oh, no, hang on, my bad. I do have some somewhere here. Our friend Jenny on Discord left me. Oh, I have it. There we go. Yeah, okay, I did ask her specifically. So yeah, Jenny from Discord says, I think it's probably Chibnall's best New Year's special. It has a time loop that shrinks instead of staying the same, which is a genius way of adding tension to the story. Nick and Sarah as side characters are admittedly bizarre, but it's refreshing to have really awkward characters like that because people have those characters in their life. I like that Sarah isn't really a good person and gets slightly less terrible as time goes on. It's far more realistic than some of the valiant acts that some characters constantly do. Nick has the best line in the story with X terminated. Thasman being fully confirmed here felt like a reward to the audience, but a little too late. Also, the Daleks were actually scary here as they were those confident agents of impending doom. The scariest shot was when the Dalek eye stalks lit up from the darkness. She gave it 9 out of 10. So thank you, Jenny. Now we can move over to Letterboxd for the small handful there. Clacker the Geek gives this episode 3.5 stars out of 5 and says, I like this one. It's a bit of a comfort episode. It's nice and low-key. I have fond memories of this on New Year's Day. Resolution is still a better New Year's special, though. Dr. Ashley Who gives it 4.5 out of 5 and says, Groundhog Day with Daleks, machine gun extermination, Yaz's sexuality confirmed, although it's a massive shame it took Chibnall this long to confirm it, and we've only got 2 more episodes to explore it, and Dan becoming a Thasman shipper. Yay. Mike Lord gave it 4 stars out of 5 and says, definitely the best of the Chibnall Whittaker era Dalek specials. I love a good time loop story, and I thought Annetta Laufer directed this one really well, though the rules were a little fudged. Each loop was supposed to be a minute shorter than the last, but it felt more like each loop started a minute later and continued on until the Daleks had killed everyone. The fact that the Daleks only arrive after each loop has started didn't help there. Also, a common fault of Chibnall's writing is that intent doesn't always equal execution. Nick is clearly meant to be endearing and a little shy/awkward, but his hoarding of ex-girlfriend stuff does feel creepy. The episode is carried by the performances of the regulars and guest stars Aisling B and Ajani Salmon. Fair enough. Dan Peters gives the episode 2.5 stars and says, seeing mixed reviews, but this didn't do anything for me. It was just another Chibnall special that felt like it had no impact on anything. The time loop thing took away any immediate danger. Lots of clunky dialogue. The Daleks were irritating, disappointing. Yeah, I don't think we agree with that. I think that's going to be the hot take award probably from us. So, yeah. But I did, like I said, because I'd heard so many negative things, I was kind of curious to check out the critical response to this as well. So if you'll forgive me the indulgence. The episode has a Rotten Tomatoes rating of 83% and an average score of 7.2 out of 10. The website consensus reads, Doctor Who scales back and is all the better for it with a New Year's special that finds fresh notes within a self-contained yarn. On Metacritic, it has a weighted average score of 76 out of 100, indicating generally favorable reviews. The AV Club gave the episode an A- grade, and reviewer Caroline Seed opined that Eve of the Daleks was one of the best episodes under Chibnall, particularly praising the guest cast and use of storytelling. Patrick Mulkern from Radio Times wrote that the romance tones were far better than the comedy ones. Again, don't agree, despite the strong comedy backgrounds of Bee and Salmon. The Daily Telegraph's Michael Hogan wrote about the change in format from a normal time loop, stating that the loop getting shorter each time cleverly cranked up the jeopardy as proceedings built to a combustible climax. Writing for The Independent, Isabel Lewis said the bottle episode format allowed for better character development with both the main and guest characters, mentioning that such development was absent from the previous Flux series. Probably agree, sadly, with that. Tom Nicholson's review for the Evening Standard criticised the pacing of the episode, with Nicholson stating, after a tight first half hour, the show loses a little urgency for a while until the finale clicks into place. Radio Times, The Independent, The Telegraph, and the Evening Standard all awarded the episode 4 stars out of 5. So, yeah, apparently the episode did get a much better response than I initially thought. So, take that as you will. And yeah, then we are at the conclusion of the episode where we give our conclusions and our scores out of 5, and then we gather them together and find out a final score for this episode. Whaley, Mr. Whaley, would you like to go first with your conclusion and score?
Sure. This is one of the good episodes under Jodie. I really enjoyed it. I thought that it was worth the rewatch again just to see. I think I'd only seen it once originally when I was doing my original watch, but I really enjoyed it. I loved Aisling. I loved everybody in it, all 7 of them. And then I think I'm going to do 4.2 out of 5.
4.2, okay. And over to you then, Toby. What were your thoughts and your score out of 5 for this one?
Yeah, I was really excited to rewatch this because when I first watched it, I came out really loving it and thinking it's one of the better, maybe even best stories of the Chibnall era, which the writing can sometimes be not for me, although I do love Jodie, saying that again. Yeah, I mean, okay. I'm going to give this. I had a lot of fun with this episode, rewatching it and held up as much as it was when I first watched it, and I'm going to give this episode an 8.5. No, wait, we're doing it different. We're doing out of 5.
We do it out of 5s.
No,
that's a great rating. I mean,
wait, convert. I
think roughly translated, that would probably be 4.25 out of 5.
Yeah, let's just go with that. Yeah.
Okay.
I should say I'm way harsher in rating Doctor Who than I'm rating anything else. So
yeah,
this is really good.
That's fair. I'm probably way less harsh when I'm rating Doctor Who than anything else. That's fine. Yeah, well, my conclusion, as always, is kind of pre-written. There's genuinely so much to enjoy in this episode from my perspective. I don't agree with most of the common criticisms, or I simply don't notice or care because I'm having too much fun. I give real credit to the number of clever ideas that slot together so neatly. The Daleks out for revenge, the TARDIS triggering a time loop, and the way it all blends into that hazy, slightly surreal holiday time atmosphere. On top of that, you've got 2 standout guest performances, regulars who remain fully on form, Daleks that still look fantastic and intimidating, and effective humour without tipping into the ridiculous. The direction is impressive too, from the Dutch angles that keep you off kilter to the moody, purposeful lighting and the claustrophobic set work. It's a time loop story that manages to feel fresh enough within that familiar trope, and the fact it achieves all of this despite being a last-minute script written around COVID-19 restrictions, using those limitations to its advantage, is honestly remarkable. My quibbles are minor at best, and they're completely overshadowed by how much I enjoy the craft, energy, and sheer festive fun of it all. I think it's one of the most focused, charming, and rewatchable episodes of the Chibnall era. A small-scale story with a clear idea of what it wants to be, executed with confidence, clarity, and real flair. It may not reinvent Dalek lore or aim for sweeping mythology, but it does still pack just enough of an emotional punch and delivers exactly the kind of zippy, contained adventure it promises, and does so with personality. So now I don't understand the vitriol. You may not have had fun with your New Year's, but I certainly did. And after 3 or 4 loops through this story, I still do. Don't be a party pooper. Happy New Year. I gave it 5 out of 5, which I have done every time I've watched this episode. I can't help it. I really like it. I respond to it. So, yeah. Putting those scores together, dividing by the 3 of us here, and then slightly rounding up because it's an uneven number, gives a final score for Eve of the Daleks then of 4.5 out of 5. which I think is really blooming fair for this story.
For sure.
Yeah.
I almost went 4.5, but I just I don't know. It's good. I really enjoyed the episode, but it wasn't my favorite, so that's why I didn't do 5. But
I understand that, and at least you didn't savage it, So
of course not.
That's fine. So yeah, cool. And so we ring in the new year a few days early. What the heck? And leave behind our heroes for now as we all drink too much, join hands, and sing really badly. I would like to thank both of my great guests for joining me here today. Thank you, first of all, Tobi.
Yes, nice to be back and to be back again in the future. So
yes,
look forward to that. Yes, it was fun.
We already have plans, you see, listeners. We have these things in mind. So did you have anything you wanted to plug or anywhere people can find you?
Oh yeah. Well, I only have Blue Sky as always.
That's just Dark Sonic, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah,
I think it is Dark Sonic at bluesky.social or something. It's always going to be in the episode description anyway. So cool.
Perfect. Go look there.
Absolutely cool, and I'll see you in the new year. And Mr. Whaley, thanks again for joining us.
Of course, always fun to come on here and talk about movies and TV.
Oh, it's always a pleasure on both of our podcasts. And again, did you have anything you want to plug or where people can find you?
You can find me as always Michael Whaley on a lot of the social medias. I've got a new photography page on Instagram. It's a CM Whaley photo. You can try to find that on there, and a lot of my photography stuff for my business. And I do have a website that's linked to on my Instagram page as well. But it's through something else. I can't just give the website on there. It's
I see. Yeah.
It's one of the free ones. So you got through Wix something. Turner Phrase Films after that. But you Google Turner Phrase Films, you might be able to find it.
I always put your details that we have got in the descriptions again because you've been on several podcasts, and so I've got them kind of saved somewhere to put in the description. So yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure again I'll be seeing you and your lovely spouse in the new year for more communications and films and TV talk.
Sounds good.
Awesome. And you can find us by following the link tree in the episode description that I just mentioned, or just look up Hit or Miss Doctor Who Trek, or Media Matters everywhere, really. You'll find us, no TARDIS required. And as I mentioned, this is our last episode of 2025 and of our Dalek series. But do not despair, we're not leaving you with a bizarre Billy Piper-style cliffhanger here, because I can exclusively reveal that Hit or Miss Doctor Who will return early in 2026 with a brand new series of episodes looking at arguably Doctor Who's second most famous mechanical menace, the Cybermen. So stay tuned for that one. And in the meantime, travel hopefully for Auld Lang Syne. Happy New Year, everybody.
Q Black Card X will return in next to it.
To be continued.
You've been listening to the Hit or Miss Doctor Who podcast, part of the Hit or Miss Who Trek channel. Hit or Miss Doctor Who is hosted, scripted, produced, and edited by Mike Wilson. Adapted from an original podcast created by Will Templar. Follow us on YouTube, your podcatcher of choice, and our social media. Links to all of these can be found by clicking on the link tree in the episode descriptions. This podcast is a Media Matters original production. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast through all of time and space. We'll be back for another thrilling TARDIS trip soon, but for now, Doctor, I let you go.